If you've ever busted your back at work, only to be ignored or underpaid, you're going to love this story. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And let's dive into one of the most satisfying workplace revenge stories you'll hear this week. Early in my career, I worked as an engineer for a defense contractor. For years of my life dedicated to the same fluorescent-lit office, the same paycheck that barely moved, and the same manager who kept promising, "Next year, we'll talk about your future." Every year, I got the same 2 to 4% raise. A pat on the back. Good job, champ. Meanwhile, my workload kept growing, and I kept telling myself that if I just work harder, they'd notice. Spoiler, they didn't. By year 4, I realized I was stuck. No matter how hard I worked, I wasn't getting anywhere. So when I got offered a project engineer position to prove myself, I thought, finally, I took it seriously, maybe too seriously. I managed a team of 4 engineers, a designer, and 2 admins. Together, we designed and built a system that made $1.6 million in sales in the first year. We even got the company a patent, and were nominated by the U.S. Air Force for Contractor Technical Team of the Year. We were flown out to Washington, D.C. for an award ceremony. It was surreal. But here's the thing. I spent 100 days away from my family that year. Testing, traveling, babysitting customers, managing vendors. I barely slept, but I thought, this is what it takes. This is how you earn a promotion. So when review season rolled around, I wasn't just hopeful, I was proud. My review, 10 out of 10. My boss said I'd exceeded all expectations. Then came the raise, 3%. Same as always. No promotion, no bonus. But the kicker? One of my team members, a good guy, but someone I supervised, got promoted early to senior engineer and a fat raise. His manager thought he showed great initiative. Meanwhile, I was sitting there, managing the team that made the company $1 million, wondering if I'd accidentally signed up for clown school. I asked my boss about it. He shrugged and said, "Yeah, I didn't think he deserved it either, but that's not my call. You, on the other hand, just keep proving yourself. We'll see next year." Next year, something in me snapped right there. All those late nights, the missed family dinners, the blind loyalty, all for nothing. So I decided if the company didn't value me, I'd stop giving them free labor. That's when I discovered the art of quiet quitting. And let me tell you, it was liberating. No more 60-hour weeks. No more weekend emails. I worked my 40 hours, and when the clock hit 5, I walked out. I took every vacation day, every sick day, every Friday off. And for the first time in years, my mental health actually improved. The only thing I kept doing extra? Taking advantage of the company's education budget. They had this fund for training and certifications. Most people ignored it. I didn't. One of my teammates, the same one who got promoted, had started an MBA program paid for by the company. But there was a catch. If he quit before a certain number of years, he had to pay it back. I didn't want golden handcuffs. So I found another perk, technical training. They'd pay for software and simulation courses. No strings attached. So he and I started traveling to different states for training. FEA, 3D modeling, simulation design. I soaked up every bit of it. Not for the company. For me, a month after finishing those classes, I quietly started applying for jobs that required those exact skills. And guess what? Within 2 weeks, I got an offer. The new company, a direct competitor. The salary, double my current one. And unlike my old company, they paid overtime. When I ran the numbers, my annual income would be almost 3 times what I've been making. Life-changing doesn't even begin to cover it. So I handed in my notice, and the reaction was priceless. My boss looked at me like I just slapped him with a spreadsheet. "Boss, wait, what do you mean you're leaving? We just paid for all that training." "Me? Yeah, I used it." "Boss, don't you have any loyalty? Any guilt?" "Me, I was loyal for 4 years. You gave me 3%. "Boss, well, how much are they paying you? Maybe we can match it." "Me, that's not going to work." "Boss, why not?" "Me, because that's more than you make." His jaw actually dropped. He just stared at me, silent. The same guy who once told me to try real hard again next year. I walked out of that office feeling lighter than I had in years. The next year, I made 3 times my old salary, worked fewer hours, got more respect. And every time I saw a project from my old company pop up in industry news, I couldn't help but smile, because I knew exactly how much they were struggling without me. That company had to scramble to replace me. And the funny part? They tried hiring 2 people for the same role, and neither lasted more than a few months. Meanwhile, I was thriving. The competitor even put me in charge of the same kind of projects. But this time, I was calling the shots on my terms. And when my old boss called me again 6 months later, saying, "If you ever want to come back, we can talk," I said, "Sure, if you can match my rate." Click. Sometimes loyalty is just a one-way street. They expect you to give everything. Your time, your sanity, your weekends. And when you finally ask for something back, they act like you're the problem. So no, I don't feel guilty. I feel free. Because success isn't revenge, it's justice. If this story hit home for you, smash that like button and drop a comment below. What's the pettiest or most satisfying revenge you've ever pulled at work? And if you love stories where karma comes back full circle, make sure you're subscribed, because we got more coming that'll make your boss sweat.